Today, we're diving into one of history's most tragic but also inspiring stories, the rise and fall of an ancient hub of knowledge so huge its destruction left a scar on human history itself. Okay, just for a second, picture a university that existed over 1,500 years ago. But get this, in many ways it was more advanced than places we have today, a true city built for learning. Now imagine this place is buzzing with 10,000 students. And these aren't just locals. No way. They traveled for months, crossing dangerous mountains and deserts, from as far away as Greece, China, and Persia, all for a single shot to learn here. At its very core was this single, powerful belief that the pursuit of knowledge was the highest religion. This place, it was Nalanda, quite possibly the greatest learning center the ancient world ever knew. So what exactly was this incredible place? To really understand the world of knowledge it built, we have to go right back to the very beginning. Nalanda got its start way back in the 5th century, in what's now Bihar, India. But honestly, calling it just a university is a huge understatement. It was a sprawling city, a metropolis, dedicated entirely to intellect and discovery. And just look at the curriculum they had. This wasn't just some monastery for religious studies. They were teaching advanced mathematics, medicine, even complex surgery, alongside astronomy, politics, and philosophy. It was the whole package for an ancient scholar, a curriculum that could rival modern universities. And the best part? We have first-hand accounts of what it was like. The famous 7th century Chinese scholar Wenzong, who actually studied there, he put it perfectly. He said knowledge flowed like a river. You can just feel the incredible, vibrant energy of the place from that description alone. But here's where things get really mind-blowing. Nalanda's influence wasn't just local. It became the world's first truly global university. And when you look at the numbers, the scale is it's staggering. Okay, let's start with this number, 9 million. That's the estimated number of handwritten manuscripts that were kept in its legendary 9-story libraries. Can you even wrap your head around that? An unimaginable vault of human thought. Then you have this, 10,000 students from every corner of the known world, all living and learning together. It was a true multicultural hub, a melting pot of innovation. And they were being taught by 2,000 of the era's greatest minds. I mean, do the math. That's a 5-to-1 student-teacher ratio. That's a level of personal education most top universities today would be jealous of. It's no wonder it was a magnet for the best and brightest. You had scholars like Kukai from Japan and Do Hyun from Korea joining Xuanzang and countless others. Nalanda was literally a beacon, drawing the sharpest minds from across continents to its flame of knowledge. The library's reputation was so huge that ancient writers made this wild claim. Think about that for a second. Nalanda wasn't just seen as having a lot of books. It was considered the complete, living archive of human wisdom. And like any archive, that made it incredibly precious and incredibly fragile. And that's where our story takes a dark, tragic turn. After centuries of brilliance, Nalanda was about to face a force that valued destruction way more than discovery. For nearly 700 years, Nalanda had been a sanctuary for knowledge, but in the year 1193, that sanctuary was violated. 7 centuries of accumulated wisdom were about to face their final test. The attacker's name was Bakhtiyar Khilji, a Turkic general. And the tragedy is, according to historical accounts, he might not have even understood what he was attacking. He saw this massive, unfortified complex and mistook it for a military fort or a palace, completely missing its purpose as a center of learning. What happened next was a fundamental clash of worldviews. On one side, you have Nalanda's entire mission to protect knowledge for all of humanity. On the other, a conqueror who, driven by fear of the unknown, reportedly saw all these texts as some kind of threatening power or magic. And his order was to burn it all down. The fire that was set in the great libraries of Nalanda didn't last for an hour or a day. It burned relentlessly for 3 solid months. Just try to imagine that. 1,000 years of research in medicine, astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, all of it just turning to smoke and ash. Countless monks and scholars were killed as they tried to protect the manuscripts. It was a loss of knowledge so profound, we can never fully measure it. We'll never get it back. But the story doesn't end in the flames. You know why? Because while you can burn books and buildings, you can't kill an idea.
And Nalanda's legacy proved to be far more resilient than its destroyers could ever have imagined. Centuries later, archaeologists rediscovered the ruins, uncovering these vast classrooms and the charred remains of the great libraries. And then, in 2014, inspired by that incredible past, India officially revived Nalanda University near the original site, breathing new life into an ancient legacy, a true rebirth.
And this brings us to the powerful lesson at the very heart of Nalanda's story. Knowledge is the foundation that we use to build civilizations, but ignorance and the fear it creates has the terrifying power to tear it all down.
Nalanda is the ultimate proof of this truth. The physical university was destroyed. The manuscripts were lost forever, but the idea of Nalanda, a global center for learning and the fearless pursuit of truth, that survived.
And so that leaves us with a really critical question for our own time. In an age of so much misinformation and division, what knowledge are we at risk of losing, not to an invading army's fire, but to our own ignorance?